More am I. Tynwald Day is a celebration for the entire Manx nation, for those whose families have called it home for, in some cases, centuries, for those who have been fortunate enough to come and live here. Today is the chosen day of the year when not only do we assert our right to govern ourselves, but we look around and decide this is a pretty wonderful place to live. This year, the nation's station celebrates as well 60 years in existence. Within a year of its first broadcast, in 1964, someone who could rightly be described as a Manxophile, a high-sold name in British radio, Wilfred Pickles, came to Laxey village for an edition of the then programme Have a Go. There may be some listening who were in the audience on that day.
Ladies and gentlemen of Laxey, it's your turn to have a go. This week's Have a Go comes from Laxey, a village that is situated on the east coast of the Isle of Man, and nearly midway between the two largest towns on the island, Douglas and Ramsey. And we bring with us the hearty good wishes of the people of Totnes in Devon, where we were last week. The Isle of Man is the perfect place for what Mabel and I call a carefree holiday, because it's got everything. It's got boating and fishing, climbing, walking, and Laxey Glen. And when you come here, you'll find that the islanders are very kind, very friendly. They make you welcome. But let me warn you of one thing. Never say anything derogatory about one islander to another, because it's bound to be his cousin.
One of the most interesting chaps in Laxey is the station master of the Mountain Railway. Let me introduce you to Stanley Gelling.
Good evening, Stanley.
Good evening, Wilfred.
A great welcome, but of course all Laxey knows Laxey. Now, of all the times, I must be honest with you about this, all the times that Mabel and I have been coming to the Isle of Man, and that's going back a few years, I promise you, I'll be honest that we've never done the railway trip up Snaefell.
Well, you don't know what you're missing, Wilfred.
I know. But how far does it climb from Laxey to the summit?
It climbs 2,034 feet, Wilfred.
And when you reach the summit, how many countries can you see?
You can see England, of course, and Ireland, and Scotland, and Wales, and, of course, the Isle of Man itself, which is a beautiful view on a fine day.
Now, it must be wonderful, as you say, on a fine day, yeah.
Wonderful.
But what? You must get some rough days as well.
Well, we get some rough days up there sometimes.
Do the visitors seem to enjoy it just as much if it's rough or if it's fine?
They enjoy it even on a rough day. Better sometimes.
It must be a bit hard, Stanley. I'm trying to think of, a nice day in Laxey. You leave Laxey, some of the young girls, in a nice, light summer dress, on a sunny day, and then arrive at the top of Snaefell and find a real gale blowing.
Well, everybody enjoys that.
No wonder he likes being station master. What about postcards? Because I feel sure that everybody that gets to the top of Snaefell must want to send a postcard home.
Oh, they all send. I think they nearly all send a postcard home.
And is it stamped Isle of Man or Snaefell?
It's stamped Snaefell Summit and the date. And that's what they're proud of. That proves that they've been up there, you see.
Aye. Now, my old friend Gilly Potter wrote to us and said, now, there's one thing you mustn't forget to mention when you come to Laxey, and that is Laxey Wheel. Well, I've seen it many times. It has a 72 feet in diameter.
Yes.
Circumference of about 228 feet. Is it the biggest water wheel in the world?
Well, some say it is, but some say it isn't. I've heard that argument, that it wasn't really the biggest in the world.
So we're not going to commit ourselves?
No, I think we better leave it alone.
Well, we might get a letter from General Nasser saying we've got a bigger one in Egypt.
That's right.
Now, the railway that runs, the ordinary railway that runs between Peel and Douglas, does that belong to the same company as your mountain railway?
No, Wilfred.
Oh, different.
The railway that runs to the top of Snaefell is owned by the Manx Electric Railway Board. They run it for the Manx government. But the Isle of Man Steam Railway is run by a private company.
Ah, I see. Stanley, where would you expect to see a string of sausages hanging up?
Well, in a butcher shop.
No, that's not quite right, but I've gone to have met you, and there's two.
Oh, thanks.
From Snaefell, let's go back to Mabel.
Well, like all small islands, the Isle of Man has a lot of incomers. And here's somebody who comes from my hometown of Liverpool, Mrs. Connie Logan.
What made you come from Liverpool to Laxey, or how did you come?
Well, it was when the war was on, I decided to come over, just on my own, and then my family followed about a month later.
Now, how many years ago is that?
That's in 1941 I come over here.
Do the Manx people take easily to incomers, or does it take a long time before they accept you?
Well, you do get the odd one that has the little word about come over, you know, but we never took much notice about that. We got on very well with them, really.
Your husband now, is he a Manxman?
He's a Manxman, yes,
What,
from
Laxey?
Douglas. From Douglas.
Oh, Douglas.
Yes.
Well, how did you come to meet then?
Well, I was working in Clucas's laundry at the time.
Was he working there too?
He was on the washing machines. And I was on the packing and sorting.
They met in a spin dryer and they've been going round together ever since. Have you any family?
I have 5 children.
Oh, go on, tell us the names.
There's one, 21. Maureen's 21.
Maureen.
There's Barry, 19. There's Malcolm, 17. Jean, 15. And Jeffrey, 8.
Very nice. Now, the trouble with bringing up children on an island, any island, it doesn't matter, particularly lads, because girls get married, is having to earn their living. What's your eldest boy doing?
Well, the eldest boy of 19 is away in Salford at the moment working, but he worked in the Isle of Man dairies at first for 3 years, but he didn't better himself very much, you know. Then the other boy of 17, he's going to sea. He's on the Manx Maid. He's been on the Manx Maid since he left school.
That's the boat that sails between Liverpool
and the Isle of Man.
And the Isle of Man.
Yes.
And what's he doing now, then?
Well, he's actually sailed for deep sea today on his first
time.
trip.
Where's
yes.
he going to?
He's going through America and Africa, different parts, you know. Be away about 6 months, 6.5 months.
Well, has he got the initiative that all seagoing men must have? Is he capable of tackling things on his own, you know, without the help of other people?
Oh, yes, he likes it very much. He doesn't want anybody to go with him or make up his mind. Or...
I mean, when he went for this job, for instance, did he go on his own?
He went on his own, yes, completely on his own.
Now, as an incomer, although you've been here quite a while now, what would you say is the charm of the Isle of Man?
Well, I think the cars along the horse trams along the pram are a big attraction, and also the cars up the summit.
Yes, I agree with you about the horse trams.
Yes.
Because people who've never been to the Isle of Man must come and have a ride on the horse trams.
Yes, they
It's
love
marvellous.
the horse trams.
Your husband started off in a laundry, finished up as a coalman, still keeping his supporting home industries, sends his mucky shirts to the laundry. Connie, where would you expect to see strings of sausages hanging up?
Hanging down. Or...
Hanging down, that's it, that's it.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and Connie gave us the right answer there, because strings of sausages don't hang up, they hang down. Well, now, this little village of Laxey, the Isle of Man, is rightly very proud of its brass band. It's composed of local lads who make music for the sheer love of it. Their conductor is Leonard Arnold. He's the local grocer. And I've asked them if they'll play a hymn written by John Wesley, because here in London Sunday School is the pulpit from which John Wesley preached his sermons to the Manx people. And the hymn is The Angel of the Lord. this is the first broadcast ever from the village of Laxey, and the last one that's ever going to be done from this hall, because they tell me it's going to become the church. Well, I've now got the conductor of the brass band sitting next to me, Mr. Arnold, or can I say Leonard. How long has this band been in existence?
Well, I don't think anybody really knows, Wilfred, because we have no records. They've gone with the wind somewhere. But it was formed in the mining days, I should think, in the late 19th century. It's about 100 years old, I would think.
Now, brass bands have spread all over the country, haven't they? And once upon a time, they used to belong exclusively to the North Country, but now they're in the South Country, they're way up in Scotland. And when you have the festival at the Albert Hall, well, millions of people come from all over the place to listen to them. Do you think that we hear as much as we should on sound radio or on television regarding brass band?
No, definitely not. No, I don't think we hear nearly enough, either on radio or television. It's a great disappointment to me. I look at the Radio Times every week and I might see just one program from brass bands and nothing on television. I think in the brass band world, that is a great disappointment.
And are you getting all the support that you should, or do you need more members for your band?
Well, we could do with more members, certainly, Wilfred. We could do with half a dozen more, but as regards support from the public, we couldn't have it better.
Well, you want new members for anybody listening in the island. Will you have girls as well as boys?
We have had girls, but unfortunately, they've got this habit of getting married, and we lose them, you see.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Leonard, and you play beautifully. There was a lad from a brass band, took his new girlfriend out to Groudle Glen, and she said, "You kiss so wonderfully." He said, "Well, I'm the cornet player in Laxey Brass Band."
Oh, that would be Francis, yes.
Well, I haven't been up there from you for a while.
No, I've been watching Francis. I want everybody to meet the kindest woman in Laxey. She's 81, but she gives cups of tea to people waiting in the bus queue in the morning. She takes parcels in for anybody. She takes messages for anybody. Well, she just likes people, and here she is, Mrs. Christian Laura Cubban.
Good evening, Mrs. Cubban.
Good evening.
You're 81.
Yes.
Last
Sunday.
Last when?
Last Sunday.
Last Sunday. Let me tell everybody, if only it was television, it would be a joy for you to see her, because she's dressed very beautifully.
Oh,
in a
thank you.
lovely two-piece blue dress and a little coat that goes with it and some very nice costume jewellery. And you don't look anything like 81. Now, Cubban, that's a wonderful Manx name, but then, of course, that's your husband's
Yes.
name. What was
yes.
your name?
Cain.
Oh,
C-A-I-N.
Yes, I know. And whereabouts on the island were you born?
I was born at Crosby, but we come to Baldwin when I was only an infant, and went to school all my days there.
You
Had to
born
walk from West Baldwin to East Baldwin to the school,
Yes.
and then we shifted back to Crosby after that for a while. I got married at Crosby at Moran Church, and then went to Douglas, and then come out to Lonnon to live, to
And
work.
that's where you live now?
Yes. 50-odd years in Lonnon.
Cubban, Cain and Crosby. There's a song to be written there, isn't there? Now, you talked about moving and then going to school. When you went to school as a little girl,
Yes.
Mrs. Cubban, did you have to walk far?
Oh, yes. Well, it wasn't so far from West Baldwin to East Baldwin, but when we shifted out to Ingerbrecht, we had over 4 miles to walk.
Aye. And let's come to the family now. How many children?
11. 6 boys and 5 girls.
Did you really?
Yes.
And at 81, how many grandchildren?
Oh, I think this... I think 21 or 22.
And there must be great-grandchildren, too.
Yes, I've got great-grandchildren. 9, I think.
Now, you've brought up a large family like
Yes.
that. Mrs. Cubban, how much money was your husband earning when you married at first?
15 shillings a week.
Can you tell us something about the price of food in those days? Can you tell us about
well.
potatoes, milk, eggs?
Oh, the potatoes are very cheap, about 3p a stone. Milk was, I think, 3p a quart.
Quart?
And Manx butter, farm butter, you could get for 11 pence in a shilling a pound.
Mind you, there's nothing dear. Well, it had to go according to the wages.
What about eggs?
Oh, 24 for a shilling. Yes, 24 for a shilling.
Mabel said that you make cups of tea for people waiting for the bus queue in the morning. Well, what time do you get up?
Pardon?
What time do you get up in the morning?
Oh, about 6:30.
Do you? And you really do make tea for them?
Oh, well, it's just friendly action.
You really like people, don't
Oh,
you?
yes, love them.
And do people come to see you
Certainly.
because, you know, they like you too?
Of course. Well, I think that's why they come anyway.
Well, what do you think, Mrs. Coven, about children of today? Do you think brought up as you were brought up? Do you think to have good manners and to like people like you like people? Do you think they're brought up?
No, I don't. I don't.
Do you ever go to the mainland?
The children of today, they've got too much money. That's the trouble.
You think you were happier on your...
Yes, much happier.
Now, do you ever go to the mainland?
Oh, yeah, I have been. Went last year. Flew over to Manchester.
You did?
Yes, stayed a
How
week.
old were you then, 80?
Yes. Well, almost.
Yeah, questions. Give her the money.
That's
Mabel.
all right.
Well, whenever we arrive in any town or village with Have a Go, one of the first questions we ask is, have you got a good singer here? And in Laxey they said, yes, we have. Now, accompanied at the piano by Harry, he's going to sing the island's own song, Ellen Van In, which means the Isle of Man. And here he is, Bill Alexander.
When the summer day's over and its busy cares have flown, I sit beneath the starlight with a weary heart alone. Then rises like a vision, sparkling bright in nature's glee, my own dear Ellen Van In, with its green hills by the sea.
Well, now then, will you give us the money, Mabel?
No, the BBC will send him a cheque.
Oh, one of those big ones. 10 inches long and 4 inches wide. And who we got next?
Well, one of the most famous twins in Laxey, 21-year-old Helen Hardy.
Hello, Helen. How are you? Helen, you're a twin. Whereabouts were you born?
In Derbyshire.
Derbyshire. And, what's your opposite number, a boy or a girl?
A girl,
A
Janet.
girl. What's her name?
Janet.
Janet. Now, I'm interested in twins. Are you exactly alike to look at?
Very much identical, yeah.
I mean, like in every detail, face and everything?
Absolutely, yes. Even,
Vital statistics?
yes, very much so.
How did you come to arrive in the Isle of Man?
Well, my mother and father came over here for their honeymoon and decided that they liked us a lot, so they decided to get a business up over here.
Did your mother and father have any other children besides you too?
No, that was enough too.
And are you all living together happily here in Laxey?
Well, my mother and father are still over here, but my sister's got married in March and has gone away to live.
Ah, where's she gone to?
She's gone to Manchester.
Manchester. Now, is there an affinity between the two of you that twins have sometimes? I mean, do you think the same? Do you feel the same? Do you get pains together?
Oh, yes, definitely. So one day we might get a headache and the next day the other one would get it.
What's your job here on the island, Helen?
I work on a petrol station as a forecourt attendant.
And who runs that?
My father.
Oh, your father?
Yes.
Oh, fine. And do you drive a car as well?
I do, yes.
And, well, your father owns the garage. Who's looking after it tonight, then?
My mum.
Oh. And who have you brought with you tonight?
I brought my father.
Where is he?
He's on there.
Let's have him on. Come on. Mr. Hardy, that's very sporting of you to come up like that. I think you should tell me, if you don't mind, your Christian name.
Reuben.
Reuben. Mr. Reuben Hardy. Nice to meet you. Tell me something about these girls of yours, how much they were alike.
Well, right from birth, they were just like two peas in a pod. And right through their life, they've sort of just been as one child. They was taken away to hospital together, and they took pneumonia together. One took it in the left lung, one took it in the right lung. Janet is right-handed, and Helen is left-handed. And the peculiarities that happen between them is very, very uncanny. And parents sometimes put it down to coincidence, but it just isn't coincidence. It's just mental telegraphy that between the two children.
Did they sleep in the same bed always?
Well, we bought them single beds, and we got fed up because every time we bought them single beds, they ended up sleeping in the single bed. So we had to buy them a double bed.
And ask her to tell us what's in the jackpot tonight.
Well, with £4.13 and sixpence in cash, a basket of lovely vegetables grown here by Raymond Clegg, who was one of the youngest farmers on the island, a jar of local honey, an ashtray made in the Manx pottery, and a tie made at the Laxey woolen mills.
Right, well here, ladies and gentlemen, is the jackpot question. Don't rush, tra de lure. Who was the Manx author? Who was the Manx author who wrote the book, The Woman Thou Gavest Me? Who said that?
Mr. Gellin.
Mr. Gellin. Mr. Gellin, the station master. And Mr. Stanley Gellin, the station master on the Mountain Railway, gave the right answer, Hall Caine. And so we come to the end of this week's live broadcast of Have a Go, which came to you from the lovely village of Laxey on the Isle of Man, with Mabel at the table, Harry Hudson at the piano, and the programme presented by Stephen Williams. We shall be with you again next week, presenting the people to the people. So until then, this is Wilfred Pickles wishing you all good luck, good night, and cheerio, Laxey. And now, come on, let the Laxey Brass Band lead us all, and let's sing, every one of us, the last verse of Ellen Vannin.
Wilfred Pickles and Have a Go in Laxey in 1965. Enjoy your National Day.